Hello, good evening, everybody. Welcome to another edition of the Reflection and Lessons Learned series, or yeah, that's what I can call it. So today we're gonna have Dr. Olubamiji with me today. We're gonna be chatting about this year. Like I said, this series, the idea for this series, came to mind when I started just reflecting on how this year, has been. And so I thought, wow, this year it's been a one of a kind year. And I believe with everything that's happened, there is still, a couple of lessons to be learned. And so, hosting three different ladies every weekend in December just to hear their perspective on how this year has been, and, just to reflect together and chat about what we're taking with us into the new year. And so today we are having Dr. Olubamiji to chat with, and she's here. So I'm just going to add our now. So let's see here. Just waiting. Hi.
Hi, how are you?
I'm doing good. So good to see you.
Same. It's so good to see you as well.
Yeah, you're looking so beautiful. Oh my gosh, I love your hair.
Thank you. I literally just took a shower. I said, hey, I have to look good for my people.
Oh, you're looking so beautiful. Well, thank you so much for honoring my invitation. I'm so glad, to have this opportunity to sit and chat with you. I know I have a personal relationship with you, and of course, I know your kind of person, and so I believe that you're going to be adding value to us this evening. And yeah, somebody said, Doctor, always looking great. I agree. She's always looking great,
Thank
always.
you.
So, I was just talking about how, I thought about this, the idea for this series. So, I just sat down and I was just thinking about how this year has just been one of a kind, like it's been, starting this year, we had to deal with, Black Lives Matter after witnessing the death of George Floyd online. We had to deal with NSARS. We had to deal with the lockdown. We had to deal with COVID. Like it's just been a lot going on this year. And I know a lot of people have canceled this year already, but I believe that it depends, this year is just all about perspective. It depends on how you see, everything that's happened, and what advantage or whatever lessons you learned from this year is still something we can take with us into the new year. So I just want us to chat. It's just going to be an informal chat where we just, reflect together. Of course, I have some questions for you, but you can always add, whatever you think I missed, you can always add that to it. So I'm just going to let you introduce yourself first, just for the benefit of those that do not know you yet. So I'll just have you introduce yourself first.
My name is Adiola Olubamiji. I go by Dr. ID online, and I'm a 3D printing subject matter expert. And so I do anything tech, but 3D printing is my focus. I'm also an Industry 4.0 advocate. So I'm one of those people that you see online that talks about digitization. And now digitization is going to affect our world in the next 50 years. So I'm a Nigerian Canadian, and I attended University of Saskatchewan. So I hold a PhD in biomedical engineering, and I love all things biomedical related. So I'm pretty much an open-minded person, a little weird, if I would say, because innovation sort of put me in that position where things are not really looking the same way the way we grow up. But I've over time be able to embrace that and use that as my tool to navigate the world. And I currently live in Indiana, Columbus, Indiana. That's my base at the moment. I am the founder of STEM Hub Foundation. And if you're wondering what we do, you can just Google it or go on Instagram and find what we do. So it's a Canadian non-for-profit. No, we just actually became a charity.
Yeah, I saw that.
So it's a Canadian charity, and we focus on helping provide free hands-on and minds-on STEM outreach programs in Ontario. We also help professionals who are trying to find mentors. So we have a mentorship program where we match mentors and mentees. And lastly, recently we started our skill master classes where we're helping provide free hands-on, minds-on skill to professionals. So if you're hoping to upskill or reskill because of Industry 4.0, we have a program to help you, and it's all free. I'm also the chief consultant at DTechcentrics. DTechcentrics is a Canadian and an American consulting company, and we do education consulting, career strategy, and lastly, engineering consulting. So if you're one of those people who feel like I'm stuck in my career, I don't know what I want to do next, I don't know how I've not been promoted. So we can help you do like a skill map to understand why you are in your career and where you need to go to be more competitive. Also, education consulting. So if you're thinking about what should I study next, okay, I'm in school right now. How do I make sure that when I graduate, I will really get a job? What should I be doing? You could talk to us. And lastly, engineering consulting. So if you're a company, you are thinking about how do I really kind of scale up my engineering business? Is there any opportunity for 3D printing related to my business? You can talk to us. We'll help you figure that out as well. So those are the things that I do. I'm a loud mouth on social media. I'm not even going to lie. I'm on social media, share my personal experience. I've lived in a couple of countries. I've lived in Finland, Canada, and currently live in the US, and I'm originally Nigerian. I traveled to about 30 countries. So I talk about these different experiences online, and I'm happy that it has helped some people really kind of think about what is next and what decision they should make. I've won a couple of awards. Yeah, and we're going to talk about that also in this program today. So I've won a couple of awards in the US and Canada. Some of them are humanitarian based. Some of them are actually engineering national awards. So I won STEP Award, Science, Technology, Engineering, and Production National Award here in the US this year. So I'm very proud of that. So pretty much I'm your sister, you know, your next door neighbor that is loud-mouthed, but still kind of is cool. That's pretty much who I am. Thank you.
Oh my gosh, you are such a powerhouse. But you forgot to mention something, that you are one of the most powerful top 100 Canadian women. Oh, okay, it's the top 100 most powerful women in Canada.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's amazing. Honestly, that's amazing. I'm so honored to have this personal relationship with you, because I know even off the records, like off the public eye, I know the kind of person you are, right? And so all these awards are just, just a testament of what you do and who you stand for, what you stand for and who you are. So I'm excited again to have you here. So like I said, this IG Live is just about, reflecting on the year, because we know 2020 is just one of a kind. We'll probably never have this kind of year anymore in our lifetime, right?
Hopefully.
And so which is why it's important for us to reflect on this year, and just reflect on how we responded to everything this year threw at us, and the lessons that we're taking from this year into the next year. So my first question to you, Dr. Adi, would be, how did you react to everything this year threw at you? Like reflecting back from January up until now, how did you reflect? How did you react to it?
Yeah, so I want to say that, if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. Yeah. So one of the very key things that I do yearly is vision board. So I actually said I was going to bring down my vision boards for this program, but it's upstairs. Maybe give me a sec. Let me ask my husband to help.
Okay, that's awesome.
Hey, can you help me bring my vision board, please? It's under the bed.
And folks, if you have any questions for Dr. Adi, please just post it. I think there's a question mark button just by the comment section, so you can post your questions there. Okay.
Okay. So how did I respond? So I started my year this year by having a vision board as to this is what I want to do this year, career-wise. This is my goal. Also. Business-wise, this is my goal. For STEM Hub, this is my goal. So I had that all laid out in the beginning of the year and said, this is what I want to do without the pandemic. This is what I want to make. Without the pandemic, how much I want to grow. Then when the pandemic came, and one of the things was, I'm an extrovert. So I love going to work, meeting with people, having that physical connection. And then when the pandemic struck, all of a sudden, I'm in that bubble where I'm thinking, oh my God, so I'm not going to talk to anybody anymore. I'm not going to go to work anymore. So this is my vision board.
Wow.
I'm going to go there later. So I'm not going to tell. So I'm one of the people who didn't react positively in the beginning to the pandemic. I kind of had like a nervous breakdown because I didn't know how to kind of go about my life without having to talk to people. And that happened to me for about 2 weeks, where I was figuring out, how do I respond to the pandemic? What does this mean to my finances? What does this mean to the promotion that I wanted to get this year? And then I re-strategized. And what I meant by that was, I try to tell myself that, okay, if I wanted to do 100% of this, maybe this year I'll only be able to do 70% maximum. And if that's all I could do, I should give myself kudos. I did not cut my goals into half. I cut it into 70% of what I was planning to get. And the other thing I did was, okay, start to restructure each of the plans. So if I said I was going to go fast like this before, I kind of was reasonable with my planning. So I did a Gantt chart where I extended my goals a little. I made it a little broader. And then the third thing I did, apart from planning and scaling back, I started looking at, because of the pandemic, what are the new opportunities that are arising? So I started looking at trends online. So one of the trends that I saw first was all programs have moved online. So that means I'm at home. I'm no longer at work on the shop floor every day, just working around. So this gives me an opportunity to say, okay, maybe I can trade stocks. Maybe I can do a little more on mentorship side, because everybody is online. A little bit of time that I spend talking to my colleagues, working around on the shop floor, I no longer do that. How do I maximize that for profit for myself? So I looked at what other opportunities are out there that came with the pandemic, came with the lockdown, came with sitting down at home, and how can I maximize that? So I started thinking about, okay, remote work opportunities. So on my side, remote work opportunities means increased mentorship hours. I can have my mentees book more sessions on Saturday and Sunday. At my workplace, at that point, we had 20% decrement in salary. So they decreased our salary by 20%, which means I need to find a way to make that 20% somewhere, right? And they also decreased the number of hours we worked. So I got to not be working on Fridays. So what that means is I could use Fridays for mentorship as well. So I realized that the pandemic has brought new opportunities to me. And other things that I get to think about because of the pandemic is, as people move their programs online, digitization was taking place seriously. So people who before they weren't using digital marketing, they don't have a choice now. Companies who are all doing like physical manufacturing and conventional manufacturing, they all started thinking 3D printing can be a thing, right? Because it's digital manufacturing here. So there is opportunity also to consult for companies who are now thinking, manufacturing-wise, can we adopt 3D printing? So I really tried to leverage the power of digital because that was the language of the shift in work. Mm-hmm. Then the other thing that I saw this year was, as Black Lives Matter happened. So Black Lives Matter really brought a lot of shifts to corporate Canada and corporate America. Right, because if you go on LinkedIn, people were vocal. People were vocal on LinkedIn talking about corporate Canada, talking about downtown Toronto, how racist it was, how people didn't have autonomy, how corporate organizations don't have Black people represented on their boards. They were challenging companies and asking us, show us your Black leaders. We're not talking about your Black followers. And what that means to me at that point is rearrange your CV. Rearrange your LinkedIn profile because opportunities are coming. Because if we're fighting and saying Black Lives Matter and elect more Black leaders, who are they going to elect? That was the question. So I asked myself that, and I realized I needed to give my LinkedIn a facelift. I needed to make my resume a lot better than it was before. I saw that this is the opportunity to apply for a job for every Black person, because you will get it. Because corporate Canada, corporate America, corporate UK, they were in soup. The world was, and at that point I realized the world is finally wanting to hear the voice of Black people. And the question to myself then was, are you prepared? Are you prepared to leverage that? So I leveraged that as a person. I rearranged my social media. I rearranged my LinkedIn. I rearranged my resume. First, I got a promotion.
Wow.
From, I started this year as a senior additive manufacturing engineer. And at March, I became promoted to a technical advisor, which is, I think, 3 levels up. And I was still thinking, maybe I can leverage this Black Lives Matter more. And then the HandSARS happened. So the NSAS happened, and as a Nigerian, had to respond and really put my voice out there, letting Nigerian youths know I believe in them. I'm one of them, and I stood by them. And what that meant for me was increase in my social media visibility on Twitter. So I saw my Twitter grew because of leveraging NSAS. From, I think I had maybe 15,000 followers, and I went to like 35,000 followers because of NSAS. So the question to influencers is, are you jumping on those trends, right? Like for NSAS, it brought me a lot of following, and it brought me the right following. Who are the right following? Nigerian youths who needs to see people who look like them thriving abroad,
right,
people who have local Nigerian degrees traveling abroad, who needs to see scientists driving Range Rover, who needs to understand that science does not make you mediocre, and that having a PhD doesn't mean that you're going to end up as a teacher. I wanted them to meet me. I wanted to know them. And because of NSAS, they located me. I located them. And it was easy for me to start to make impact in the lives of the young people back home who needs to see themselves beyond who they were. Now, at the end of NSAS, I put a post there, and when everybody was disappointed, I said, you know, Jackpa Lawaba is Jackpa season. And Jackpa season, let's just help everybody get out of Nigeria. If you're not going to make Nigeria better, oh yeah, all of you, I know Canada route, I know UK route. I know America.
Yeah, I saw that. Australia, Canada,
yes.
I saw that.
So
yeah.
I already was tempering, you know, in the beginning of the pandemic, I'll talk about that. So I was already tempering. I started quarantine with Dr. Adi. Yes. Because that was one of the ways I leveraged the pandemic. Because on Fridays, I wasn't working anymore. They already cut down 20% of my hours. So I said I would use the Friday to give back to the community. And I would use this as a marketing tool. When I give back to the community freely, the people who want more, maybe they want personalized session, they will get an opportunity to know what I can give. And then they would see why they should pay for the personalized session if that's what they want. And if they don't want the personalized session, what I put out there will be enough to get them empowered. So my Fridays was getting booked with quarantine with Dr. Adi and more mentorship session. And when we ended NSAS, I said, okay, let's use quarantine with Dr. Adi as a method to Jackpa. So I brought a whole lot of
Jackpa.
And yes. And what that meant for my business, for my DTech-centric mentorship business, was a lot of Nigerian youth, because I supported them during NSAS, I mobilized for money. I was on the streets of Twitter fighting for them every day, and letting them know that these protesters are not hoodlums. Some of us have PhDs. So don't categorize us as hoodlums. So they knew I was on their side. When I called them and said, come and travel abroad, they listened. Some of them will tell you, I'll put my money on anything Dr. Adi says, because of the fact that I supported them first. And that helped me. It helped my brand. It helped my business. And it helped me to continue to make impact in the life of the right people. Now, how else have I leveraged the pandemic, right? So, especially the Black Lives Matter movement. You know, the Black Lives Matter movement caused VPs of companies to start to reach out and say, are you okay, Adi? Are you doing okay? Can we help you? And I just got promoted. So I knew I wasn't going to get promoted again. But I knew I could get another job out there. So one of the things STEM Hub Foundation was also doing during the pandemic was skill acquisition masterclasses. So every Saturday we would bring an expert or something to come and talk to us. So we brought somebody to come and talk on LinkedIn optimization.
Okay.
And I used the opportunity to learn how to optimize my LinkedIn a lot better. And I did that. And I went and turned on available for director role. And I think I put that post on my Facebook and Instagram and said, oh, I put up a nice profile picture and ready to be a director. Why? Because Black Lives Matter has put it in the face of companies that there are Black people that you can hire for leadership roles. Right. You just haven't done that. And I'm one of those. So I rearranged my profile.
Wow.
On last week Monday, I started a job as a director of additive manufacturing solutions for the first 3D printing company to go public on New York Stock Exchange on Monday.
Wow,
congratulations. So I started it as a senior additive manufacturing engineer.
Wow.
I'm ending this year as a director Why?
Wow, that's
Because
amazing.
I leverage everything this year gave us.
Mm.
Black Lives Matter gave me a voice to be able to say, okay, I've been prepared all along, but you guys have not given me that director role. But I'm now, yeah, the world is asking you, why don't I have it? And companies started looking for experts like me to
Wow,
promote, to
congratulations.
say, okay, this person has everything we need. All right, let's give them a chance. My
Right.
question to you, you are listening to this. I know this year I've cried a lot because I told you guys I'm an extrovert. I was confused in the beginning because I didn't know how to respond. And I sometimes I'm still very sad that I can't meet up with people because I'm an extrovert. I want to go out there. This year I struggled on a lot of levels, different things. But this year I had 7 levels of promotion. Seven. Because I learned to leverage digitization early. I also learned to leverage my voice as a Black person, especially when it mattered the most. This job that I got, I asked it to be 100% remote role completely.
Wow.
I could do that now because this year has proven to employers that people don't need to be physically present to deliver quality work.
Yep.
And
That's
when I was negotiating this role, I told them I want it 100% remote. I don't want to move. And they agreed because this year I taught them that.
wow.
If I was negotiating for that last year, they wouldn't have said yes.
Yes, you're right.
I could also have sat down and not negotiated for remote role. I did because this year has taught us a whole lot about working remotely. It has taught us that Black leaders should erupt from every aspect of our lives. We cannot have Black people as just followers anymore because there are Black leaders who have been prepared. And I'm one of them. And I didn't just sit in the shadow and be carrying placard alone and not really leveraging my voice. Then lastly, on my business side, I think this year, Eccentrics made more than I budgeted that it was going to make this year because of the fact that I got 20% cutback at my last job, and I was able to leverage my Fridays and take more mentees and also do a whole lot more for the community. So as I do for the community for free, the community bought my products. They bought my ideas. So sometimes as a person, we all should ask ourselves, are you giving back enough? Because in the process of giving back, the blessings you get are actually more than that giving back. Sometimes we put too much price on stuff. You know, I had some people reaching out and saying, Doctor, I think you give out too much information that people actually pay a lot of money for. It blesses people, but it also blesses me back because it builds my brand as authentic. It helps build it as credible.
That's
That
true.
she knows our audience. If she gives all of this out for free, what else will I get if I actually am in her inner circle?
That's true.
So it makes people trust her a whole lot more. So I feel like this year, in a nutshell, I've learned that remote work is here to stay forever because it has convinced people that remote work can work. Digitization is not going to go anywhere. Companies like Zoom, their stock went from $30 or so to now over $500. Sometimes it comes down to $350, $400. I think it's at $400 something right now. So those companies are not going to let digitization go away because digitization is real. Industry 4.0 started in 2011. It's going to be here for about 50 to 60 years. So the world has been conditioned to accept it because of this year. So moving forward, it won't be a problem for us. Number 3 is Black voices than ever before. Black voices has become relevant on the market. Are you leveraging that? Because we were oppressed for so long. People were complaining about it. We all complain about it. There was racism. There was so much. There was all of those things happening. 2020 was the beginning of you better treat us well. And all of us need to leverage that. If you're at a place right now, you're working for a company, they've not promoted you for 3 years, you better go and arrange your LinkedIn. Call me, let me come and help you. Do that, your resume, and go and apply for jobs in January. Jobs are available. You know, some people will say it's tokenism. And no, I'm collecting what they should have given us a long time
A
ago.
long time. And you know, talking about that, I was going to say also, just I'm sorry to interrupt you. You know, a word keeps coming, you know, coming up, which is you were prepared. Preparation, right? You were prepared for this opportunity. You had your goals set up for this year. So all this that happened to you this year didn't just happen. Like
Yeah.
they didn't just hand it over to you because of
No.
whatever it is that happened. You were prepared, and it's because you got this role, you know, because you were capable of, you are capable of this role, right? And also for your business, the successes you've enjoyed in this year is because you've worked towards it. You worked on it. You planned for it. So it didn't just fall on your lap. It didn't just
No.
happen, right? So, because a lot of people, like you said, some might say, oh, it's just, they just gave it to you because, no, they didn't just give it. They can't give it to you if you're not prepared for this role. They
No.
can't give it to you if you're not capable, you know, if you're not capable, if you don't have the capacity for this director role, right? And of course, you prepared for it. You worked towards it. You were intentional about everything. From what I've been hearing, like it was all
Yes.
planned out, and it worked out because you planned for it and you worked hard for it.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
I want to add a few things to that. I told you guys I had a vision board, right? Every year I have goals, like goals. So this year, if you look at this side, I said I want to win awards, win a manufacturing award, win 2 community awards. You don't win those awards if you didn't prepare.
Yeah.
You don't win awards if you haven't put in the work. Nobody's going to nominate you. A manufacturing award will be that the company you work for nominates you for the awards. It's a national award, right? If you haven't put in the work the previous year, you shouldn't be expecting that a company will do that, especially if you work with a company that more than 70,000 people work at, right? They can't just do that. I feel like every one of us have to be intentional about our living. We need to, you know, the pandemic is not the only thing that will come to us. In the years to come, other tribulations and trials are going to come. Will that tribulation and trial now sweep you off from the face of the earth? How are you going to navigate that? If you don't have a yearly plan and you don't have an intentional method of living, every time there's a problem, you are going to be at the mercy of everybody, or you're going to have to go and restart because the storm is just going to blow you away again. And I feel like that is what happened to a lot of people this year.
Right.
Because I understand it was so tough a year. But if you didn't have any plan, really, you were just going with the flow. It's easy for the year to just sweep you off your feet, and then there is really not much to do. Or if you're one of those people who have refused to adapt, as innovation and digitization is taking over our world, are you one of those people who is holding on and saying, no, I'm not going to learn that new skills. I really love my job. I really love what I do. If you are not adaptable, it's going to be tough. I told you when all the pandemic happened, I went back to my vision board. I adjusted my goals. I adapted also to not having to see people physically, even if it was painful as an extrovert. I found other places to invest my time. I found a way to make my online friends become a lot personal so that I don't miss out as an extrovert. I brought my extroversity or whatever it is online. And instead of having to go and hang out with my friends and family physically, we switched to Zoom, we switched to Instagram Live, and I really maximized those media. Right? My goals didn't change that much. My plans didn't change. I just changed my strategy to execute those plans. If you didn't have any plan before, then there would be nothing to change strategy for. Right. And that is the first thing. Is there a plan that we're working on? Then if there is a plan, then there is going to be a way around it to still make that plan work, but maybe using a different strategy.
Okay. So somebody just sent something here. Let's see the question. Is it okay to pause the comments box for a little bit so we can see her face a bit while she speaks? Okay. Somebody wants to see us. So she wants to, okay, turn off commenting. Okay, I turned that off. But I hope people would still be able to ask questions though. Or
Okay.
we can always, yeah. So yeah, that's a good one. And I'm so glad we're having this conversation, because it then for the new year, right? Because I mean, you started with having a plan for the new year and then working towards that plan. And I'll still go back to that, but something just popped in my head and I just want to ask real quick so I don't forget. So now that everything is now digitized, like you said, remote work is here to stay. And you, for example, your work is now 100% remote. So how do you plan to make yourself known at work? Like, how do you plan to build your personal brand? Because that's going to be a challenge now that, you know, you work remotely. It's hard for you to tell who this person is or who that person is, right? Every communication you have now would be via email or online video calls and all of that. So how do you plan to build your personal brand, you know, just so that your career, because I know this is like this, even this director role is a big one, but knowing who you are, I know this is just one step again, right? I know you still have like, you're still going way further than that. So I know this is just temporal, however big it is. So how do you plan to leverage, you know, technology to build your personal brand, and how do you plan to make yourself known? Because for example, this manufacturing award you got, it was because of, you know, all the work you've put into your old workplace, the personal brand you've been able to build at your old workplace, Cummings, right? So but now that everything is going to be remote, how do you plan to achieve that?
Great. So one thing, there are a couple of things I was writing them down that I plan to do. So first of all, the role is 100% remote, but I still have to go to the HQ every now and then. Like for example, this coming week, I'm going to be at the HQ for the entire week. So anytime I get an opportunity to go to the HQ, I'm going to make sure that that week I have visibility to the right projects, meet the right people that I've had, you know, prepared to kind of meet up with based on the work that I am doing. There are other areas that I'm looking at apart from whenever I go to the headquarters, I get to meet with people. One of the things that I have mastered over the years is how do you respond to questions, arguments, brainstorming in meetings? You know, when we are all in a room, people, it is easy to overshadow your voice because there are 15 people in a meeting room, there are 16 people. With digitization, it is harder to overshadow your voice, because everybody can hear you loud and clear if you make a comment on Zoom. So one thing I'm hoping to leverage is to make sure that every time I'm making a contribution, they are very, very knowledgeable contribution. They are contribution that anyone that listens to them knows that's a great idea. Absolutely. And that helps them to understand my person. That helps them to know maybe that person is smart. That's a person to go to when you have such an issue. And I believe that with the online thing that we have right now, we must be mindful of how we communicate our points, because they are clearer than they were when we were in meeting rooms. So every of my comments, every of my contribution, they will be thought through thoroughly. So every meeting that I go to, usually I would think about what are the two contributions I'm hoping to make and do a good research before I go to the meeting.
That's a good one.
So when I go to those meetings, I'm making extremely critical contributions that people leave the meeting with my contribution in their head. That is a way to make impact. Another one that I'm hoping to do is have a mentor and a sponsor within the company. So for example, the day I started working, you know, I already saw like all the big people, but they don't know I'm here because this is an executive role. Like, so I was getting a whole welcome to the board from like big people. Like the CEO sent me a Slack message and I wanted to faint. I felt like, oh my God, what just happened? Like, you know, like I know him, like he's the big guy on LinkedIn. And then I didn't have a picture up on my profile. And then he wrote to me on Slack, Hattie, it's good to have you. What the hell? I was like, oh my God. I was so excited. And that showed me this is a critical role where every action I take has to be thoroughly thought through, but I need mentors and sponsors. So I'm hoping that in the weeks to come, I'll identify who the mentor would be. I wouldn't look for sponsors in the beginning. I would get a mentor and also support my mentor. So by looking at areas where they could use my strength and help them as much as I can. And over time, just count around who the sponsor is going to be. An extrovert, so I don't have a problem with, you know, talking to people over Skype. I've been doing this online, so I feel like I will schedule some good meetings with leadership to let them kind of to have an idea of what they're working on and how I can support a lot better. I'm a self-starter, so I see myself doing a whole lot because this is my industry. One of the good reasons why it's better that I'm here is that the company, I could do some of the business that they do on this side of the world. So it's also great, even if I'm not at the headquarters, I'll be useful to do other things, right? So I feel like there are ways to build your credibility within that company. And a lot of the work you do, how do you talk about your work? As professionals, especially Africans are very humble in our description of our successes. We're very humble in our description of our deliverables. We are very humble in everything. I feel like we cannot adapt that humble strategy if you are trying to be visible to leadership. You have to be able to say what you have done in a concise manner and copy the right people that needs to be copied so they have visibility to what you have done. And that is the method I adopt, and I will encourage every professional to adopt. Humility does not make anybody know what work you're doing. So if only one person knows what you're doing, knows your progress, if that one person doesn't like you, then how then do you get promoted? So building who your stakeholders are on a particular project so that there is visibility to more than one person is critical to professional development. I know how to do that. Lastly, LinkedIn is a marketplace. You want to be powerful in your workplace, add everybody now and let them come and see Dr. Adi's profile on LinkedIn. Fear will catch everybody. I know. Right. Yes. Yeah, so I feel like internal influence is not enough. You have to build external influence through all the things you do so that the company also know that we hire somebody who has a value on their own before they join us. Our company is not the only value they have in their lives. And they can know that you have a public persona that they cannot mess with you.
That's true.
You need every company to know that, because if your company knows that you don't have anything else going on for you, then they feel like you're intimidated at everything. But if they know you have other things going on for you, you are winning other awards, you are doing well for yourself, you are volunteering in other places, you are a happy person, they see it on your LinkedIn, the different comments coming out of people, it commands respect for you within the company. So I would say using that external boost helps build confidence in the internal people, help also command respect in those organizations, and I'm hoping to definitely leverage that. It's a no-brainer not to. You know, I make a lot of noise on this social media. On LinkedIn, all I share is professional things going on, all the awards there, puts it out there. Why? Because humility is not going to cut it. This job, I got it on LinkedIn. Somebody has told me and say, we think you are the right person for this, right? I say, I know they look for a job. They say, here the offer now. Yes. If my LinkedIn wasn't properly made and all of it, look at the profile, everything is just checked. Nobody's gonna offer me anything. And they will not, you know, every time when somebody click on my LinkedIn, because if you Google my name right now, one of the first things you see is my LinkedIn. So my digital footprint leads you to LinkedIn, which is the most proper place you can find when it comes to my digital platform. You'd see all the best stuff being arranged there. So I'm hoping to leverage that external stuff and use it to build that internal confidence as well. Of course, work hard is very key, right? But really don't just work hard and only one person is knowing your progress. Let other people who are part of the stakeholders you have built, let them really know what you are doing, because it's very critical for other people to be able to say, yes, I did deliver that. Or they carry that to their own meeting and say, oh, we have an expert who knows that. That's how to kind of build confidence in different people, not just your manager, right?
Wow, that's a big one. The humility piece actually speaks to me. I'm sure my husband is watching, and I'm sure he's saying, yes, I told you so. So I'm a very conservative person. So I tend to tone down everything that I've done. I tend to tone down my accomplishments. And I know we've had this conversation too, right? I know you've scolded me on this too. So this piece actually speaks to me, and I know that it speaks to more other people as well, because like you said, I think it has to do with our culture, you know, that tends to, you know, equate being outspoken as being forward. Like if you're outspoken, if you try to, you know, not brag, but I mean, there's nothing wrong with bragging because you worked for it. So if you brag about your results and your accomplishments, it's you know, it's interpreted as pride, but that's not true. And like you said, if I have just one person seeing everything I've done, then what's the point? Right? So I'm actually going to maximize my LinkedIn as well. And, you know, and something came to mind just as you were talking about, you know, the remote workplace and, you know, integrating into the team. So I just joined a new team in November too, and something that has worked well for me, which you might find helpful, is, you know, identifying people that I think would be good to build my network on my new team. And then I just schedule like a virtual coffee meeting with them for 15 minutes just to introduce myself and get to know them, and, you know, just feel their pulse and, you know, try to understand or figure out their strength on the team, or, you know, just even to better understand their personality as well. And that has worked for me really well. So it might be something you might look into, you know, just, and one of the things I do is, of course, like you said, people send emails, oh, welcome to the team, it's good to have you here. So when I respond, I just take that opportunity to then, respond and say thank you, and then maybe schedule a 15-minute virtual coffee to just get to know each other. So that just came to mind there.
Thank you.
Yeah, so something came to mind. You know, I was looking through, when I was preparing for this meeting, I went on your Instagram page, and I saw something that actually caught me off guard. You made a post, I think, was it yesterday or 2 days ago, about being tested positive for COVID. Like, I wouldn't have known, because like you said, you use your social media really well, you know, always engaging your audience, you know, putting out information out there, you know, meeting with people online and all of that. And I had no idea. So can you just tell me a little bit about that? Like, how did that happen? How did you respond to it? How come nobody had any idea? How come you didn't stop working? You didn't stop using your social media? Like, how did you do that?
Yeah, so I try, because this is very personal. Yeah, I caught COVID. I caught it not through me going out. It was through my husband going out. So he caught it. He brought it home, and I caught it.
Wow.
And you know, he was sick, and I had to take care of him. But I wasn't sick. But it wasn't that I wasn't sick. I was sick. But I'm not, you know, if two people are sick, somebody have to be off doing the work. So
that's true.
I couldn't mentally. I feel like the strength of every Black woman is that mental training that we have, that in the middle of very hard situation, we're still trying to keep going and not slack or relent. So through the whole COVID 2 weeks, I was still really working, and I didn't actually take any day off at work. I just worked. I took care of my husband, and I just did what I had to do. And then I tested negative, and then it was gone. And then I stopped being weak after it was gone. And it was a scary experience, because I have an underlying condition. But I feel like one of the reasons why people get beaten down has to do with your mental capability and how much fear engulf you as a person when you're going through a situation. And if you're able to beat down the fear, the amount of beating down reduces a whole lot. In my case, I knew that I have to be up for the family. I can't afford to be, who's gonna take care of my husband that is doing like a baby? You know, when they're sick, how baby they can be. So he's gonna be taking care of baby. So I have to make sure that I was mentally strong for both of us and take care of us. It wasn't, I wouldn't say it wasn't too tough. It was tough, but just went through it and got through it. It didn't take any day off. Even with my program, I was still showing up and just toughing it all out. And this, you know, we're talking about now the hardness of this year. Like, you know, apart from breaking down mentally because of not being able to go out, this year has been tough, right? This year has been tough with COVID happening. with other things happening, I remember a few days ago, I still have like a nervous breakdown, missing my sister and crying
Yeah, I saw
like
that.
crazy.
Yeah.
And in the past, if I felt like that was going to happen, I'll just take my car and go somewhere and sit outside, maybe at a bar, and spend an hour there. And I would not get to that point. But because of COVID, I couldn't go anywhere. So I was home. And all of the emotional stuff just happened. And I just saw myself crying for like 4 hours straight. And the next morning, waking up and still crying and not happy at all. But those are some of the things that happened because of COVID. I know a couple of people that lost their jobs this year because of COVID. But I also know tons of people that gained new jobs because digital jobs are becoming relevant and they beef up their capability to be viable for those jobs. It's been a tough year. Like just looking at everything, like the fear of COVID-19, listening to the news every day, hearing how many people died. It's been tough. It's been there is nobody, I wrote something on my social media this week. I was saying that this year is tough for everybody. We just need to support one another. Some people died. Some of us survived COVID. And some people didn't have any win this year. And some had massive win this year. In the middle of a pandemic, some people got PhDs, some people bought houses, some people got promoted. Support them. That's how we hold one another this year. And if you have a win this year, jump on the top of the roof and shout it from there because it was harder to do than other years because of the mental breakdown that we all have and the fear that COVID brought into our lives. But yeah, I toughened it out somehow, and then I test negative, and I was so happy that was gone and have to kind of just keep dealing with all of the good stuff. But every now and then there is still that breakdown and the over carefulness when we go out, like extremely careful where I go, who I talk to. This year has been tough, and COVID has. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
I
It
survived.
has been. It has been. I mean, I had Dami here last week, and one of the things she talked about was, finding some sort of therapy, right? Like finding it might be something you enjoy doing. It might just even be just having a warm bath every night. It might just be, talking to somebody. And it might be just, speaking to a professional therapist, as long as you're doing something to relieve yourself of that stress mentally, right? It helps, like it goes a long way.
Yep.
And so, one thing that, you said something about, of course, preparing for the opportunity, that's coming along, which is what you did. And I mean, we see the result. So as we're preparing for the new year, how would you advise people to prepare for the next big opportunity?
Yeah, so the opportunity that we have with Black Lives Matter, with COVID, with NSAS, it hasn't gone away. So we don't have to even be preparing for the next big one because the one we have, we're still hitting the cake. Sure. And how you want to position to eat your own portion of the national cake is what we should talk about. So I'd like everyone, I'm a career coach, right? You have to think about how do I want to position in 2021? What are my career progression plans? What are my career advancement plans? Where am I in my career? Every individual deserves to do a yearly recap of their career and look at what have I achieved this year? What are the lessons learned this year? What were the pain points this year? What did I achieve? And then think about, in the last 5 years, how much have I made from the degrees that I obtained? And go and find out what is the market scale for my field. How many years does it take for somebody to get promoted in my field? Have I been promoted fairly? Or have I not? What is missing in my resume that can give me a leverage to really be able to do that? I think the national cake of all of the things happening is still happening. But you need to just ask yourself those very serious questions. Do a recap of this year and make a plan for how you want to make next year better. Because it's very critical that we plan 2021. Because we not only need to plan our career. So career, you can leverage all of the things we talked about. We need to plan our money. I'm big on budgeting. So I remembered one of the things I gave people earlier this year was a budget template and a couple of app suggestions that people should start budgeting. How much do you want to save in 2021? How do you want to make that money to save it? What else are you growing? Is there a side business that you're growing? How much do you want to put into the business? Do you have a team that is working on the business so it can scale, or do you need to put one together? I think it is very critical that we think about everything holistically. Spiritually, where are you in your journey with God? Have you cut back because of COVID and you're not going to the gym, you're not working out? For 2021, do you want to have a healthy lifestyle? What is the minimum you can do? I think everybody needs to put it down. One of the areas where I maximized this year was starting to trade stocks and learning about investment. Why? Because it became critical, because people, in the beginning of COVID, everybody was saying, oh my God, the stock market is crashing. And then I was watching Yahoo Finance and all that. And I started hearing that, oh, this is the good time to buy because everything will go back up. And I had no clue how to trade anything. I didn't have an account. I used that to change my idea of how I wanted to invest my money for 2020. I went and read about trading stocks. I joined a couple of groups and started understanding, not even just stocks, options. That is really crazy. I started understanding all of these things and really channel my money into where my money could grow. And I could tell you that I made good money from trading stocks this year. That wasn't even part of how I wanted to invest my money for 2020. But because of the condition of COVID and all the fluctuations and what was possible, I was able to learn another thing that wasn't even on my learning radar for 2020. So how are you planning your money? What are you doing with it? Or is it just sitting in your account and it's collecting dust? Every year when you don't spend it, inflation is affecting it by 3.5% minimum.
Of course.
You are losing money. Are you buying real estate? What are you doing? Everybody needs to think about it next year differently. Apart from your career, we've talked about it. Put the plan together, do a skill audit, come and buy my market, come and do mentorship. And if anyone is thinking, I want to talk to you, I have a vision board party coming up next week, Sundays, $40. Come and put your money. Let's talk about 2021. It's important. Plan that. I feel like it's critical to not just focus everything on career. Nigerians do that a lot. All we plan for is career. We don't plan for other things beyond career. If you now make money from that career, what are you going to do with that money? How do you want it to grow so that you can leave a legacy for your children that is beyond just having one house? It's important that we don't just plan the career. It is important that we plan the money this year. Last year, in December, people come and say, Doctor, what did you do this year? Last year, we bought 2 houses. This year, let me show you my vision board. Do you see this house? I put it on the vision board that we want to buy a multiplex. We did bought that multiplex. When we bought the multiplex, it's crazy. We planned for it. I put it on the vision board. I want us to buy a multiplex. Why? It's important for us to have income from real estate. A multiplex will bring that. I've done my research. I know where to buy it, put it on the vision board. We made it happen. Why? I don't have kids yet. But when I have children, the suffer that I suffer for corporate America and Canada, my children will not suffer that. If I don't want them to suffer that, I can't just work for some company for 30 years and I expect my children to not suffer that. They will suffer that for sure. How are you planning so that the future of your children will be different from yours? We bought that multiplex. People know. I want to talk to people in Canada right now. They said they are bringing 400 people to Canada next year. Another 400,000 people the following year. Another 400,000 people the year after. That means about 1.2 million people will be entering the country as permanent residents in the next 3 years. When I bought a house in Ontario, in Kitchener last year. The house has gone up at least 150,000 right now.
Yeah. I live in Kitchener, so I know.
Now, 1.2 million people will come to Canada. What that is telling us that 50% of those people will want to live in Ontario.
So the market will be so hot. There is no way the market is not going to be so hot after that 3 years, the house would have probably gone up by 500,000. And you are in Ontario, you are making money, you are not thinking about buying real estate. What are you doing with your money? You want your money to be collecting dust instead of investing it in a place where you know in 3 years my money I'll be making 500,000 on top of it. How are you investing? Who is helping you plan your money? Who? You need to sit down with people and plan your money. This hard-earned money has to be invested correctly. It has to, because when I saw the amount of people coming to Canada in the next 3 years, I'm like, yo, we gotta buy more houses in Canada, man.
You're right.
I'm like, yo, like this year we bought a house in London, Ontario, and we bought that house. It's less than 1 month. That house has appreciated by 50,000.
Wow.
And then if we now leave that house for 3 years, and all of these 1.2 million people now coming, that house probably would have appreciated 400,000. Do you think I come to this my life to just be suffering? We can't all just be saying, let's plan career.
And not plan for the money.
Plan your money. You have not come to Canada to carry last.
Mm-hmm.
And let me tell you, getting a director role is not going to make you a millionaire.
Nope.
We got to plan this money. You know, I talked about how I started trading stocks without even wanting to do that this year. I will not be telling you how much I made, but I've made money. You people saw one of my mentees that we talked about buying Tesla stocks. She went and bought Tesla stocks. 3 weeks ago, I posted about she went and bought a brand new Range Rover car from the proceeds of her stocks, of her Tesla stocks. Wow. She just traded stocks. She bought Tesla stock about $500. Tesla stock went to 2,000 plus.
Wow.
So how are you planning your money? Who is brainstorming with you? Who is sitting down with you and planning not just your career, but also your money, the future of your children, the company you are building, everything you are doing? I'm tired of Nigerians just being the professionals with PhDs, and when our children want to go to school, they'll still go and collect student loan. I'm tired of that.
Yeah.
I'm tired of Nigerians that doesn't have any companies to our names, but we are the vice presidents of companies. We are the kiniko. I'm tired of that. I'm tired of us having just one house, and we've been in Canada for 20 years. I'm tired of that. This coming year, if you're a permanent resident holder, you have to save your down payment and go and buy that house. If you have bought one house before, buy another one, because the people coming from everywhere they are coming from, they will hike the price of houses. Don't come and be regretting 5 years later why you didn't buy that house. Save your small money. Don't go to the Caribbean this year. Save it.
You know, it's interesting you said this, Dr. Adi, because even just yesterday, my husband and I were talking about how, you know, it's important for you to also plan for the people you want to hang around, right? So 2021, you're planning about your career, you're planning about your money, but you should also plan about who are the people you want to roll with in the new year. Like, how do you want your circle of friends to be? Do you want to enlarge your network? Who are the people you need to reach out to? You know, because talking about how you want to plan your money, how you want to invest. I mean, if you're hanging around mediocre people that think, oh, it's just that one house for you and your family and you are made, you know, you won't even see bigger than that, right? So my husband and I said, we're chatting last night. So we came as international students and we lived in Sarnia. And so we were living in a 3-bedroom house in Sarnia. The landlord liked us so much that he offered to sell that house to us. Do you know how much he was planning to sell that house? I think maybe 40,000 something. Maybe 40.
If you have got that,
you know, yesterday night we were international students. We had only international students as friends, right? And so we were even thinking about buying a house, right? So he liked us so much, he was offering to sell a 3-bedroom house with finished basement for 40,000 plus. Well, we said, oh, we're international students. We don't want to buy a house now. Eventually, he sold it to another person for maybe 80,000 plus. I'm sure that house now is worth over 200,000.
Yes.
I'm 100% sure. So imagine if, although we're international students, but imagine if we had friends that would say, oh, you can buy a house even as an international student, if you can, you can, like, anything is possible, Imagine if we had enlarged our minds to be able to purchase that house. Imagine what that would have, imagine the value of the house today if we had bought that house. So as much as we are planning our career, planning, for the money for the next year, also plan for the network of people you want to hang around. Like, plan for the circle of friends you want. Like,
let me
I'm a believer of being intentional when it comes to having friends and, having people around you. Like, you have to handpick people. Don't let them pick you. You pick people and plan towards that,
I want to add, my body is hot. I need to give a shout out to my friend, Deborah Holmes. Deborah. I met Deborah 2 years ago on Facebook. She added me. We chatted. That was it. I think that year, I put out an advert and said, I want to form a becoming book club. I want to read Michelle Obama. She said, hey, I want to be a part of it. She wanted to know me, right? This woman is the reason why I have 4 properties to my name.
Wow.
This woman is the biggest blessing of my 2019 and 2020.
Wow.
Talking about intentional friendship.
Yeah, intentional.
She pushed me to buy the first house when I was single. When I married, she pushed us. She's been pushing us. She's pushy. When I wanted to build this house, right? She pushed us to build it. The multiplex. She said, your husband said Chicago is good for a multiplex and you make money. You people have to buy the multiplex. She's on my case every day asking, so did you guys see a multiplex? How is it going? We bought the house. The house in London. She sells houses. She'd go and find the best deals and come and convince me why I should put my money there.
That's good.
Apart from the houses, the last time I came to Ontario, we were driving to my Kitchener house, and she knows my salary because she's the one who helped buy the house. In the car, my friend said this. She said, Doctor, these people are lowballing you. They're not being paid well. I said, what do you mean? I'm being paid well. She said, no, you're not being paid well. You need to be making at least 50% more of that money. And you should actually make double of that money. I know you are worth more than... Oh, this girl started to fight with me that I'm not being paid well. So I went back and redid my evaluation and said, okay, I can go fight for a promotion. That's how I got my first promotion in March. I got a promotion. I went back and said, hey, there's increase in salary. She said, that's bullshit. That's not enough. She pushed me every day to be better, every day.
Wow.
When I wanted to get this new role, I went and showed her everything. She said, well, it's okay. She just take it. You said, I've doubled my salary. I should be dancing. How the hell did that happen in 1 year? I had the right friend.
Yeah.
The right friend that every day told me my worth to my face and made me know I'm worth more than where I am. I could do better with what I have. I am not seeing my potential. And that changed my life.
Wow.
Completely.
Wow. Yeah. I'm a big believer. I'm a big believer of being intentional with your friends. And the truth is, friends like that, like, there are very few. Sometimes you can even have just 1 or 2 people like that in your life, and you're good, right? And you're good. That's true friendship. That's true friendship. Wow, that's amazing. Folks, if you have any questions, you can post it in the comment section or use the question mark. Use the question mark tag, please. Wow, that's amazing, Dr. Adi. Wow, I'm blown away already. Somebody is saying, what if you want some certain circle of friends, but they aren't open to having you in their circle? What do you say?
That's possible, right? And I feel like friendship is like a tree that gets planted. It has to be watered. There are people who, through their kindness to me, have slowly became my friends. Friendship is not what you just walk up to somebody today and say, come and be my friend. How are you approaching the friendship? Some people, they don't support your business. They don't comment on your post. They are not your biggest supporter in anything. And then they want to be your friend. They will not, such a person will not be open. You're trying to be somebody's friend. First, start by supporting their product, their brand, their social media. Start from there. Let them recognize you as one of those people who every time they post something is out there supporting all their efforts. Then they will slowly gravitate towards them also following you back.
Yeah.
Towards them also looking at what you're sharing and comment on it. But if you are on the I want to receive, but you are never, some friendship has to do with you put work first.
Mm-hmm.
How much work have you put into promoting that person's work, into supporting them? I've in this year that finished, I made a plan to myself. Any friend that does not publicly support me, you are cancelled. If I win awards, you are not happy for me. When I cry, you're my friend, right? I'll cry to you. And I'm publicly winning awards. You are not the first person to be on that comment section getting happy for me. I'm selling products or I have things I'm working on. You are not supporting me. You are cancelled too. I have a foundation. You are not volunteering there to help us help the community. So what exactly is the use of that friendship? Before you ask somebody for friendship, first of all, look at what they do. What is precious to them? Go and support it.
That's right.
Go and support it, because people are trying to keep their inner circle tight. I don't have, to be honest with you, I only have 3 friends. Three. I'm everybody's friends. We're only 3. And out of these 3, it's only Deborah. It's only Deborah that I know.
This is, it's funny you said this, because like I said, I'm a big believer of, being intentional with having with my friendship. So I have very, very, very few friends, but then I have a lot of acquaintances, right? So I have one of my close friends in my inner circle. So when I'm chatting with her and I say, oh, my friend did this, oh, I told this my friend, she's like, no, those are not your friends. Those are people you know. Like there are people that are acquaintances, and then there are those friends that that these ones are in your inner circle. And I can be very, very, I'm very, very protective of my inner circle too. But like if there is somebody that I recognize as, oh, this person shares the same value as me, or oh, I would like to learn something from this person, sometimes I reach out, and sometimes all I do is I make myself visible by supporting what they are doing. And Dr. Adi, you know this. You know how we became friends, right? And you know how I've nurtured that friendship. Like, that's the same thing I do with every other person that I want in my inner circle. Like, sometimes you make yourself visible by reaching out. If the person is busy, there is no point taking that person out. Just make yourself visible by supporting what they're doing. And thank God for social media now. You don't have to go through PAs. You don't have to go through 1 or 2 or 3 people. Just slide into people's DM, or just like their post, or reshare their post. Just do things to support them, do things to make them see you, and find ways to add value to these people. There is always an opportunity to add value to even the person that is accomplished, that has everything. There is still 1 or 2 ways to add value to such people. So just find ways to add value to people, and before you know it, you have them in your corner.
Yeah,
so I hope that answers that person's question.
Based on the story I shared, if Deborah added me as friends, and before we really became friends, every of my good posts that's helping the community, she's taking it to some WhatsApp group and telling people, go and look at this, and she is always there, right? And then when I put out that request that I want to grow a team of 10 women and share becoming, she was one of the first people to reach out and say, would you consider me? And because I have seen her always helping out with my posts, supporting it, I said, okay, let me give this a trial. And look at where we are. I have only my inner circle only have 3 people, 3 friends. I have the Mokbes family, this Deborah, and another family. They're 3 done.
There you go.
For anyone to break into that, you have to prove to me that you are worth me opening up 1 more slot. Maybe I've seen how you support me, or you just always there. And then we had but some people, they only support when you even want to congratulate you, they come inbox to congratulate you. They can't publicly congratulate you. That is how bad it is. And then they come tomorrow and say, come and be my sponsor, come and be my friend. What do you mean? I'm not going to answer you. So how are you, the person that asked this question, how are you approaching that friendship? How are you nurturing it even from afar? Does that person recognize you as a supporter of their brand, what they do? Let that person recognize you as that first before you extend a hand of friendship. I have seen people register for my mentorship program because they want to be my friend. And in the process of us talking about their career, we actually vibe.
That's
and
good.
then you know, I give them my phone number, and then we continue it as a relationship. Because it became a relationship from talking about, let's plan about your career. And then they also have things that they see that they can offer me and say, Dr. Adi, can I do this for you? I feel like you could, I have this service, I think it will help your brand. Can I help in this? I have one lady who was very successful reach out to me and say, Dr. Adi, I want to help you plan your team. Can I help you? I'm going to do it for free. She reached out with her service to plan.
Wow.
Today on Twitter, a lawyer reached out to me and said, Dr. Adi, I want to offer you my service for free. I'm a lawyer. I do contract negotiation. She told me everything that she does. I want to handle all your legal matters.
Wow,
I will do
amazing.
it.
Amazing.
Tell me how I will not open my doors for this week.
Of course, of course.
Immediately when I saw that, I told my husband, I said, I don't have any legal matter. If this girl has approached me like a month ago, the contract that I signed with the new company, I should have given her to review. But it's okay. He said you should send her your phone number so that she at least will have, she has access just by offering what she has. The person that is asking, what is in your hand? What can you offer that person? Go and try it. Offer it and see how that goes. If they have a product, buy the product. If they put up a post, is relevant to you, put a comment there every now and then. Show support to their work. Let them notice you as a supporter, not because you want to be their friend. And things gradually will just gel. I believe that.
Right. That's true. And you know, thinking about it, it even goes beyond friendship as well. It also, like, you can also use this when even at work. Like, is there somebody you're trying to network with? Like you said, are you trying to find a sponsor? Find a way to be visible to this person. You know, find a way to add value outside of your work, your job duties. Like, find a way to add value to this person, and before you know it, you will have access. I don't know what time it is here, because I want to respect your time. I don't want to take more than
I'm
1 hour.
I'm showing people my vision board one more time. And I don't, you know, it looks very fun. I'll cover my pay here. It looked very fun and everything, you know, and I put it under my bed. And every week I'll go onto that vision board. I'll look at it and look at what I've done for the year and look at which area I want to feed for the next week, and really go into that week intentionally about what area am I feeding this week. As you've listened to this, you know, it looked like Dr. Adi just came to tell us everything she's done this year. Maybe I didn't tell you everything though, but I want to say that you have to be intentional every step of the way. Some weeks are going to be tough. Some weeks are going to be not tough. But we cannot keep going into fresh weeks without having a plan for that week and what we're trying to face on our vision board. It is this intentionality that helps you really get to your next level. One of the things on there is you'd see three girls standing together, right? So one of the things for me was I wanted to really be intentional about my friendship and feed my friendship with good resources so that they can grow. Because these are people that I want to keep in my family long term. And whenever I see that picture, I ask myself, am I really feeding the friendship? What have I done to feed my friendship this month? And this friendship, some of them also includes my social media groups. Like, what am I doing to support my audience who are on social media following me, waiting for something that I want to hear? As we go into 2021, there are still so many opportunities that Black Lives Matter can bring. There are opportunities that this remote work has brought and will still continue to bring. I challenge you to look at your career. We're at the end of the year. Think about it. Can I do better than I am doing today? Challenge yourself to do better, because you can truly, truly do better. Don't be one of those Africans who just stay humble and overly humbled. And because you're too humble, you're not seeing what is possible for you. Just let's reflect on my story. How somebody started the year as a senior engineer and ended the year with a director. And you know, that is a path that takes people 15 to 20 years to get to. But I think in June, I said it out. I said it out that I'm ready for a director role. And God made it possible because I said it out. I positioned, I put in the work. I had all the degrees and everything, the experience. But I put in the influence that people need to see and everything to be able to get that. In this new year, I want to challenge you to position. If positioning for you is to go to conferences, go. If positioning to you is to go and join those organizations that have something to do with your career, do it. If positioning for you means getting new skill sets, do it. If positioning for you is really thinking about going back to school, do it. If positioning is really sitting your manager down and letting them know that 2021, here are your career progression plan and asking for how they can support you, do it. If positioning is quitting your job and getting another one, do it. Don't stay with a company that doesn't appreciate you. Don't stay with a company that doesn't give you clarity as to how you will progress in your career. Don't ever do that to yourself. Don't stay in a company that silences the voice of you at tables. When you give ideas, they don't respect it, but if another person says it, they say that is fantastic. Don't stay with such a company. You are more than that. You're worth more than that. There are opportunities in places where they will take you. This new year, challenge the impossible. Spread your wings. Be ready to fly and be ready to take risk. If you fall from the top of a house, you'll be surprised that you will grow wings. And with those wings, you will fly higher than that point when you fall from. Don't be afraid to take risk in this coming year. Plan, plan, plan. Don't just plan your career, plan your money, plan how you want to communicate with God, plan your love life. Oftentimes, the hard workers don't feed their love lives. They don't feed their love wife, they neglect their spouse, they neglect their children, they don't remember to date their spouse, they don't think it makes sense to look good and wear good lingerie. Some hardworking people that I have seen don't even remember to buy new bras. That's how bad it is. Don't be one of those hardworking people who is not feeding their love life. Feed yourself as well. Remember self-care. Self-care, if you're not alive, if you're not healthy, you know, I talked about having COVID and working through work, and some people are probably thinking, oh, if my immune system wasn't strong, I wouldn't be able to fight that COVID. Why? I've been taking care of myself so much that my body already used to care. So it could fight bad COVID, right? So how much efforts are you putting into taking your vitamins? How much effort are you putting into eating healthy, going to the gym? If you can't go to the gym, at least doing some exercises, taking some walks. You need it. Find time to pause. The rest of the world will be okay. Pause when you need to pause. Find time to dance, to relax, to say a word to somebody. Call somebody up and check on those friends. This new year, make it intentional. Build your vision board. A vision that is not written down is not going to get executed. Write it down. Plan on it. Plan on it. Strategize on it. Go ask for help if you need it. 2021, we need to kill it. We need to thrive. And I'm tired of coming to tell you how I'm thriving. I want to hear that you are thriving. I want to hear that, oh my God, you remember that conversation you had on Bola Tito's page? It helped me. I believe that there is money to be made because of digitization and all of these things. You know, I'm a professional, but I still believe in power of side hustle. Grow that side hustle this coming year. Form a team. Stop being a one-man business. Hire a couple of people or get them as pro bono. Just make sure you have a team working on that, your side hustle. Build that side hustle. That could be that empire. All right. Thank you.
Wow. Thank you so much, Dr. Adi. This has been great. Like, I can't even, like, this is amazing. I mean, like, every time I like to like summarize my top 3 that I've taken from this, from my charts that I started last week. And I'll say top 3 insights from this chart is: 1, you have to plan. Like, nothing just happens. Like, plan, right? Plan, and then work towards that plan. And don't try to be humble. If there is anything you've achieved, brag about it, talk about it, let others know about it. And like you said, there is no excuse in 2021. 2021, we are balling in 2021. We are making it happen in 2021. We're taking these lessons, planning for 2021, and we are running with it in 2021. So thank you so much for coming on this live with me. I really appreciate all the wisdom that you've dropped here. I'm going to save this video so that others that couldn't join live would be able to watch it. Thank you so much. And one more thing before you go. When is this vision board party, please? So that
it's on Sunday. Sunday 20th of December 2020. It's $40. My plan is
Sunday
20
next Sunday, right?
Sunday. So my plan is to come there and also bring another person who is a coach. So the person is going to work us through the pain and all of the pain that this period has caused us, while I'll be focusing on helping us with all of the career visions and also sharing those budget templates and talking a little bit about stock market and building the vision board. So my hope is people come in there, they learn about how to forgive themselves. They learn about how to deal with their COVID anxiety. They learn about how to really kill it career-wise and really make their money work for them in 2021.
And what time is it on Sunday?
It's at 12 noon Eastern time.
EST?
Yes, Eastern time, ET.
Okay.
So I'm hoping that will be, I think, 5 o'clock Nigerian time, or 6 o'clock.
Okay. I was typing that in the comments so that others can see. So I'm hoping I'll see all of you next week, Sunday at 12 p.m. EST, because I'm joining. I need to plan for my 2021 too. So thank you so much. I love you already, right?
I love you too.
Thank you.
Take
Bye.
care. Bye.